Do not trust these borders. You might think they are solid and have always been this way, but that's actually not the case. In fact, many countries have come into existence only to vanish later and be completely forgotten. The most significant changes happened after World War I. So, to start our journey, we have to go all the way back to the early 20th century. Here, in the heart of Europe, was a large multinational empire called the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This empire ruled over a vast part of Europe, covering parts of 13 modern countries within its borders. But after World War I and the defeat of the Allies, the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed into different countries and vanished from existence forever. However, from its ashes, new countries came into existence, like Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia. But you can't see these two countries on modern maps. So, what happened to them? To understand what happened to them, we have to go all the way back to the early 20th century again. Both countries were born exactly after the end of World War I in 1918. Yugoslavia was formed after the unification of the Kingdom of Serbia and the Kingdom of Croatia and Slovenia. It was commonly referred to at the time as Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes. Later, King Alexander I renamed the country to Yugoslavia in 1929. And for Czechoslovakia, it was formed from several provinces of the collapsing empire of Austro-Hungary. In the interwar period, it became the most prosperous and politically stable state in Eastern Europe, since most of the Austro-Hungarian Empire's factories and infrastructure were located in Czechoslovakia. Long story short, these newborn countries didn't have an easy life, since they both were occupied during World War II and then became communist under the control of the Soviet Union during Cold War. Things were like this until 1991, when the Eastern Bloc changed forever, and all communist regimes failed. For some countries, the change was just in government, but for some, the whole country was changed. Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia both collapsed into different independent countries. For Czechoslovakia, the dissolution was calm and peaceful, and it is split into the Czech Republic and Slovakia on December 31st, 1992. But for Yugoslavia, things were tougher. From 1990 to 2001, a series of wars happened in former Yugoslavia, which resulted in 140,000 people losing their lives. And in the end, 6 new countries came into existence, but the conflict hasn't come to an end yet, and the tensions still remain. Wait, I wanna borrow 10 seconds of your time. Follow me. This is my... where is it? Oh, there it is. This is a replica of the biggest dream of my life. If you enjoyed this video so far, please subscribe to my channel and help me get the real silver play button one day. Thank you so much. Back to the video. I mentioned that the Eastern Bloc changed forever after 1991. Many countries vanished from maps after that date. Let's also talk about another country in the Eastern Bloc that no longer exists, East Germany. After the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945, Germany was split into 4 zones, each controlled by one of the 4 main Allied powers. Following an agreement between the United States and the Soviet Union, Germany was divided into 2 independent countries in 1949, West Germany and East Germany. These 2 countries remained separated for almost 40 years until 1989, when the Berlin Wall fell. On October 3rd, 1990, East Germany and West Germany reunified again, and East Germany disappeared from the maps forever. This was the first step in the collapse of the Eastern Bloc, and no country could escape that fate. Even the main boss couldn't avoid this outcome, despite being one of the strongest countries in history. I'm talking about the Soviet Union itself, which was founded after World War I on December 30th, 1922. This country was also made up of different ethnic groups. 15 Soviet republics came together to form the Soviet Union. But in 1991, this union collapsed and became a part of history. Remember when I said earlier that for some countries the change was just in government, but for others the whole country changed? Let me tell you a cool fact. During the fall of the Eastern Bloc, all the countries that once bordered Poland disappeared. The Soviet Union to the east, Czechoslovakia to the south, and East Germany to the west. They all vanished, but Poland kept its seat tight. Only if they could do the same after World War II. It's almost like, hey, a little to the left, please? Alright, we just started from World War I and passed through the Cold War until its end. But I missed an important country from that period. So for the last country on our list, we have to go back to the early 20th century, again. Here in Europe, there was another country whose name no longer appears on maps. That country is the Ottoman Empire, also known as the sick man of Europe during that time. Let's just say that the Ottomans joining World War I was the nail in the coffin. Since the Ottomans were part of the Central Powers, after their defeat, the Ottoman Empire was gradually disintegrated by the victors of the war and nationalist movements. Although it technically continued to exist for a few years, it lost most of its territories and political power. The empire finally ceased to exist after the abolition of the Sultanate in 1922 and the establishment of the Republic of Turkey in 1923, following a series of independence wars and political reforms. Dark fact: the end of these countries mostly resulted in the end of many people during the process. A lot of those people believed that their country would last forever, just like this video. But the truth is,